Hello and welcome. My name is Monica Emery. I'm the Executive Director of the Center for World Music. Thank you so much for joining us on the first day of spring for this exceptional performance and Q&A with Janusz Prusinowski Kompania, streaming live from Warsaw, Poland. We're excited to have a great audience today. Please let us know where you're joining us from in the chat. We want to extend a special thanks to those of you who donated in support of today's presentation. If you haven't and you would like to after the program, you can find the link in the description below. Like all our programming at the Center for World Music, today's presentation aims to foster intercultural awareness and understanding through in-depth encounters with the world's performing arts traditions. Today, we dedicate ourselves to the village music of Central Poland. This program was made possible through the generosity of an anonymous donor. This family has a deep appreciation for Poland's traditional music and dance, and a desire to share that passion with you today. We'd also like to thank our sponsors, Rice and Haling Development Group and the City of San Diego Commission for Arts and Culture. Now, the Center for World Music Board President and UCLA's Distinguished Professor Emeritus of Ethnomusicology, Timothy Rice, will introduce our guests.
Thank you, Monica, and welcome everyone to our virtual encounter with the music of Poland. Thanks to the generosity of our sponsors, we're going to be able to attend a live concert direct from Warsaw, Poland, by the Janusz Prusinowski Kompania. Janusz Prusinowski has been a leader in bringing to light and to modern audiences in Poland and all over the world the village music of Central Poland. Village music from Poland and indeed from all over Europe has been challenged in the last 200 years by a process we can call modernization in two forms. First of all, industrialization, the building of factories in towns and cities that attracted villagers to move from the village into these towns and cities in order to work for money in these new factories. The second process has been going on for about 100 years, and that's the spread of popular music via radio and then television and now the internet. And so members of the Kompania have been traveling to Polish villages to learn directly from villagers, and then they present them in a way that's vital for modern audiences in the 21st century. After the concert, which will last about 45 minutes, they're going to be joined in conversation by Professor Timothy Cooley from the University of California, Santa Barbara. Professor Cooley is a specialist in Polish music. In 2005, he wrote a wonderful book on music from the villages and towns of the Tatra Mountains of southern Poland. That book won a prestigious prize from the American Association for the Advancement of Slavic Studies. Polish language is a member of the Slavic family of languages. So now let's head to Warsaw, Poland for our live concert with the Janusz Prusinowski Kompania.
Dobry wieczór, good evening, or hello, our great listeners and watchers. Thank you very much for inviting us to this extraordinary concert or conversation. It's gonna be both, even elements of workshops. We are very thankful to the organizers from San Diego, to Monica Emery and Tim Rice from the Center for World Music from San Diego. Thank you very much. Thank you to anonymous donor who helped to organize this concert, and to our friends from California, Suza Szewiola and Koni Kaczmarczyk. Thank you and hello to you. And thank you to Bemowskie Centrum Kultury who organizes and makes the stream from Warsaw, here and now. Dziękujemy bardzo. we're gonna play, or we're gonna share the music we got from village masters from central Poland that we have met for last 30 years perhaps, and that were our tutors in not only in learning tunes but in learning the whole musical language that mazurkas and obereks and other melodies, other dance melodies are a part of. So we will try to share with you this music not only as tunes, but as a way of communicating or of building special community around these sounds, these stories, this word. And I wish to start from one of my nearest teachers, nearest masters, from Jan Lewandowski from Strzemeszna village, of 2 tunes from him. So we are beginning. If we could come directly and in reality to San Diego, we probably will will say many stories, will tell you many stories about our masters. And we are gonna do the same also from here, but we are in quite special situation that one of the masters we can invite here with us, really. Maria Siwiec, one of the best and most liked singers and dancers from Gałki Rusinowskie, from the village. She is with us. Poczekaj. Już byś chciała śpiewać, nie śpiewaj jeszcze. Maria communicates with singing, so there would be no place to introduce her a bit more. Introducing her, I mean telling one of the stories about your singing. Maria, when did you start singing? Kiedy zaczęłaś śpiewać?
No praktycznie od dziecka zawsze śpiewałam. Kiedyś za gęsiami się śpiewało, ale pierwszy raz tak mi się przydarzyło ładnie zaśpiewać na weselu u mojej siostry.
I ile lat miałaś
Miałam wtedy 7 lat.
So she sang always, since she started talking, or even earlier, and she remembers her singing whilst feeding geese, for example, or other animals in a village where he is still living, still lives in the same village. And first time when she sang at the table at the wedding was when she was 7 years old. So that was the beginning of your career of a singer. To był początek kariery muzycznej Marysi Siwiec.
Tak. Ale się cieszę bardzo, bo była możliwość pośpiewania i na polu, i w domu, i na zabawie, i na weselu.
She was always happy being able to sing and sing with other singers. Many people were singing, and each opportunity was good for singing. On the field, whilst work, whilst meetings, at the wedding, or any other situation between people, among people. What are you gonna sing now? Co zaśpiewasz?
No przyśpiewki takie o miłości trochę może, no wesołe na pewno i takie o miłości.
She's gonna sing some couplets about love. So this is the main topic for all the couplets in this Mazurka and Oberek regions. And love is the matter of not direct talking here, is the matter of poetic stories.
Oj, taradum, oj, pojadę z paradą, ale ojca matki nie ma na konika wsiadą, ma dana, dani, dano, ma dana, dana. Oj, wsiądę na konika, oj, wsiądę na karego, ale dogunie dziewczynę da koło studzianego, a dana, dani, dano, ma dana, dana. Oj, wsiądę na konika, oj, który lekko niesie, ale dogunie dziewczynę da w kalinowym lesie, a dana, dani, dano, ma dana, dano. Oj, w kalinowym lesie, oj, diabeł babę niesie, ale przystar do chojoka, dej babo buzioka, a dana, dani, dano, ma dana, dana.
And quite often I learn from Maria directly from her singing. She helps me or corrects me, not this way, not this note. This time I'm almost ready.
teczki, a co tak ładnie grają, ale chyba jasiniowe na palce przebierają, a i chyba jasiniowe na palce przebierają. Oj, mój Boże kochany, dacy cieni mam w niebie, ale czy te moje prośby da nie dochodzą ciebie, ale czy te moje prośby, a nie dochodzą ciebie. Oj, Boże mój, Ty Boże, a i Panie, ale kto to postanowił da na świecie, kochanie? Na górę drabina, ale do komory schody, tak kochaj, póki młody, a i do komory schody, tak kochaj, póki młody. Oj, majątecku nie ma, bo my go nie trzeba, ale bo ja z mająteckim, a nie pójdę do nieba. Kochałam, a i w sercu nosiłam, ale Bozia mi nie dała, da, żeby jego była. Oj, dobra, no dziewczyno, bierę rower, jadę, ale nie dałaś buzi, nie da więcej, nie przyjadę, ale nie dałaś buzi, nie da więcej, nie przyjadę. Oj, kochano dziewczyno, oj, drogi Karoliku, ale przyjadę do ciebie, da na Karympuniku, a i przyjadę do ciebie, a na Karympuniku. Oj, nic nie mum, oj, bo my nic po niczym, ale ino karyku niga z malowanym bicym, ale ino karyku niga z malowanym bicym. Oj, kareku nie sprzedum, a bo my się nie wiedzą, ale nawet kasztany, a to my brykać będą. Kładę nałogi i choinecka żesty, ale nie przychodź ty do mnie, a bo mamusia żesty, a nie przychodź ty do mnie, a bo mamusia żesty. Oj, żebym ja wiedziała, a że cię będę miała, ale to bym gałązeczki, a blizki owijała. Gołcunecka joce, oj, gołcunecka bito, ale chociaż nieurodno, ale pracowito, a chociaż nieurodno, ale pracowito. Oj, na rowerze siedziała, nic mi nie powiedział, ale ino te dwa słowa, a bywaj chronił zdrowa.
Maria Siwiec will come back in some time. Dziękuję bardzo, Marysiu. Wrócisz do nas. Bardzo było fantastycznie. Maria will come back at another moment. And what we're gonna show you more and what we're gonna tell the story about is the relationship between this village music, this crazy, improvised, turning, changing accents, shifting rhythms, music, and classical music, if we can understand Frédéric Chopin music as classical. I think so, definitely. And as we know, Frédéric Chopin knew village music quite well. He traveled quite much across Poland. In many places, he just listened and remembered. He loved this music and appreciated. There is some correspondence showing his involvement in this music and how he loved the simplicity, complication, complexness, and also the emotions. And he also used this music. He could use this language as his own, not only in mazurkas, but in many other compositions. And fortunately, in Oskar Kollberg's collection, there are about 80 thick books with music, songs, stories, fairy tales, etc. from 19th century Poland, let's say. And one of these songs sounds exactly as a theme from Fantasia on Polish themes that you probably might recognize. But this music from Kujawy region, which is Kujawiak, which is slower kind of, let's say, mazurka music, is still alive in some places, and there are many beautiful archive recordings that we also learn from. So the first Kujawiak will be Fantasia, or the Oskar Kollberg's notation. Second one will be composed by us from archive recording, archive song. Jedzie Jasio od Torunia, pędzi gąsiory, gąsiory. Wyszła k niemu ta maleńka z nowej komory, komory. Wyszła k niemu ta maleńka z nowej komory, komory. Wstąpże, Jasiu, wstąpże do mnie, dobre piwko mam, daj mam, komu za pieniądze, tobie darmo dam, daj dam. Utrynkuję, ugościuję, na drogę ci dam, daj dam. Jasio skoczył nieuważnie, wywinął nogę, da nogę, nieszczęśliwe zawołanie, chodzić nie mogę, nie mogę. Jedźże, Kasiu, po doktora, do mego pana, da pana, a jak doktor nie przyjedzie, przyjeżdżaj sama, da sama. A jak doktor nie przyjedzie, przyjeżdżaj sama, da sama. Pościelże mi to tułoże w nowej komorze, komorze i połóż się też koło mnie, może pomoże, pomoże. I połóż się też koło mnie, może pomoże, pomoże. widać. Nie znam dróżki do dziewuszki, nie śmie się przyznać, da przyznać. Tędy, nie tędy, chłopole, oj tędy, nie tędy, koło mego ogródeczka, koło lawendy, lawendy. Krótkie różki u poduszki, będę się skulał, dziewczyno. Oj tędy, nie tędy, chłopole, oj tędy, nie tędy, nie tędy, koło mego ogródeczka, koło lawendy, lawendy. That were two Kujawiaks, and this might be a good moment to say some short words about instruments we play on. Fiddle, this might seem like a normal instrument, but it's not. It needs a completely different way of pushing the strings. I don't know if it could be visible, but they are very high. So village people liked to be able to push the strings in special way, which I also like doing, and you might hear the difference. This is also, of course, the basic instrument, but besides that, you can see bassy, which is in our situation, this is specially changed or rebuilt cello. double bass, which is double bass, and and in a village people built these bass space instruments in their own ways. They sounded really sometimes really strange, really special. Each instrument had its own sound. Piotr plays on baraban. Now he's keeping the baraban, which sounds as you hear. The triangle is called stalka. It's from steel. It's from real smith, and this is talerz. This is cymbal. And normally he plays also little drum, which is called bębenek. Bębenek, will you show bębenek? Just a little. It looks like that. And on this side we have wooden instruments, woodwinds, clarinet, schaum. You could hear in some tunes this one. We like their sounds. This is why we use them. And as we know, in villages, when people could play any instrument, they played this instrument and they played melodies they liked. So trumpets got really popular in the village, and for wedding it was fantastic to have such instruments, because you can hear the wedding from the other village, which was very, very representative. Yes. And saxophone, that's it. And I have one more instrument. Which is not just an accordion, it is Polish accordion. The keys on this side are organized in a completely different way. It's not the scale you might expect. I don't use 5 fingers, just 4. And I'm gonna use it just now. Playing 2 or 3, or I don't even know how many melodies of kujons from the region neighboring to Kujawy. So Kujawiaks were the slowest ones, now a bit faster, but not much. And next, Oberek is, perhaps I just translate first a couplet. Oh God, aren't you in heaven? I have the feeling that you are not listening to my pleas, that you cannot hear me. Mój Boże kochany, a czy Cię nie ma w niebie? Czy te moje prośby, a nie dochodzą Ciebie? Szła dziewczyna przez wieś, a mówiła różaniec, żeby jej się trafił, a jaki oberwaniec. Ola moja Ola, a nie zasiałem pola. Nie narobi mi się, a kochaneczka moja. W sieni na drabinie, a czarny kogut siedział. Dałabym ci buzi, a żebyś nie powiedział. Dałabym ci buzi, a żebyś nie powiedział. Bo ja bym tak chciała, a żeby nikt nie wiedział. Wsiądę na konika, a wsiądę na karego. Dogonię dziewczynę, a koło studziannego. Serce moje serce, a na dwoje siedzieli. Jedna strona płacze, a druga się weseli. Listening to the drum, you might ask, where's the rhythm? What's the kind of rhythm it is? And now we prepare short explanation, short workshop for you how it is constructed. For us, it's very simple and quite easy. I will clap 1, Michał and Szczepan 2 and 3, first, not too fast. And everybody can have these 2, 3 in different places a bit. This is the core of this music. What will happen when we add the drum? We can make accents in different places. And what would happen if we observe the dancer? When we put this 3-beat, very individual, into the steps. Maria Siwiec and Arek Szałata. Marysia, pokaż takie te kroki sama. My zaraz dołożymy muzykę. Slowly first. Najpierw zwolna. Dziękuję. Thank you. Arek, could you show how to keep, Arek Szałata, how to keep the dancer and how you are creating this dancing couple, which should be sort of unit. You keep each other quite firmly, and your feet are not like that, they are just crossed a bit, and then you can do the same with turning, with this, using this centrifugal force, but together with the same one central point. Drugą stronę, change the way. And some ornaments in feet. Dziękuję, thank you. Sometimes when there was not the whole band, the dancers used to dance only to the melody, to fiddle, for example, making this drumming by their feet. And as a last tune of this presentation of this concert, we're gonna play and sing one of favorites, Maria's songs. The beginning is with Blueberry, but the story is about love. Maria, could you come and sing Jerzyna with me? I know, wiem. To my sami zaczniemy, a ty sobie napij się wody. No, domyślałem się. To my zagramy, a ty sobie przyjdziesz. Tak, przyjdziesz, kiedy będzie gotowy.
Od przysuchy chmura idzie dezreje, a dziezio się nieborocek podzieje. O Jerzyna, moja mamo Jerzyna, co ja będę z tą Jerzyną robiła? Dające do Jasinia przez pole, to my Jasio Jerzyneckę wykole. O Jerzyna, moja mamo Jerzyna, co ja będę z tą Jerzyną robiła? Kolemy Jerzyneckę śpilecku, mowiniemy prawą nóżkę chustecku. O Jerzyna, moja mamo Jerzyna, co ja będę z tą Jerzyną robiła? Oj, utonu mu Jasinio, utonu, a inomu kapelusik wypłynął. O Jerzyna, moja mamo Jerzyna, co ja będę z tą Jerzyną robiła?
Maria Siwiec singing and dancing, Arek Szałata dancing, Szczepan Pospieszalski trumpet, basy, double bass and singing, Michał Żak basy, szaum, clarinet and saxophone and singing, Piotr Piszczatowski little drum, big drum, baraban, singing and fiddle, and he celebrates his birthday today. 100 lat!
50.
And thank you very much for this part of presentation, and I wish to thank you, Tim Cooley, who agreed to talk with us now and ask questions and represent you as well, you who will ask your questions on YouTube or any other places where it's possible to ask. Now you are ready to talk. You can ask questions to Maria, to Arek, to anybody of us, to all together. We will be happy to answer. We are very happy after the concert. Thank you. Thank you. Może siądziemy. Tim? Can you hear us? Może siądziemy. Gdybyśmy mieli więcej krzeseł, to byśmy sobie usiedli.
Thank you very much for this fantastic performance. All the way from Warsaw, Poland, where it's about 11 p.m. But as such a great dance band, I suspect that 11 p.m. on a Saturday night is prime time for you. So you're just getting going. The night is young. So thank you for spending the evening with us. Our afternoon. Before I get into my questions, I have to note, I was looking at the chat in the YouTube, and we had guests from, of course, San Diego, but also from San Francisco, Chicago, Michigan, New York, Wisconsin, Hawaii, Massachusetts, Arizona, okay, Australia, Ireland.
Everybody. Hello, the world, the earth.
Yes, Sweden, Finland, Poland, Austria, and elsewhere, and I'm coming to you from Santa Barbara, California, so just a few hundred miles up from San Diego. Janusz and the rest of the company. I think we'd all love to hear from each of you how you discovered village music and dance, and why you decided to devote yourself to learning and performing this music and these dances.
Maria has already told her story before she started singing, as she was just born in this music, in this place, in this culture, and probably at the same time as she was learning Polish, she was learning Mazurek, Oberek style singing, and all these ornaments she performs and develops till now. So her answer, we have such person among us. It's great pleasure, and we are really happy to have such givers. Because, for example, for me, I'm always feeling this music as a gift that was given to me by people older than me, but by people who have developed this language. And I am born in a village myself. My parents were singers. I loved music since I was a little child. I played whatever was giving sound. All these sort of instruments, but the music in the north of Mazowsze is completely different than this one. Some Kujawiaks could be similar. So one of first tunes I was singing and I was playing were Kujawiaks and religious songs. Then after many years, I was 20 or something, I met Andrzej Bieńkowski, Professor Andrzej Bieńkowski, one of our mentors, who brought his first film composed from recordings in a village, The Last Village Musicians. That was beginning of 90s, and his film had this title. He had the feeling that it's last time to listen to this music, to meet the musicians. And we, with friends, the Brotherhood of the Poor was the name of our band, we were just amazed with this recordings, with these masters, with this improvisation, with these tunes. We, living in Poland, we had no occasion, no opportunity to hear to such music before. It was like music from another continent, not only another country, from another continent. And that was exactly what we were looking for. So then we got first addresses from Andrzej Bieńkowski, started traveling, started creating friends, relationships, started inviting these masters to Warsaw, to other cities, started learning how to dance, how to sing, started learning that language. So that was my path. I don't know about Michał or Piotr. Michał.
I think you know, but maybe you all there in San Diego and all over the world don't know. First of all, my grandfather was a village musician. He used to play hammer dulcimer. So when I was 6, he was already teaching me some music of his village and his childhood. And I was always very musical and willing to play music, but I only knew the music of my grandfather, and then there was a black hole in traditional music and my perception of traditional music in Poland. I was learning my arsenal, my woodwinds instruments in France, in Armenia, in many places, in India as well. And in every place I went, I met traditional music and people that were playing the music of their place. And I was always ashamed that I couldn't play any music of my places from Poland. So that was that was how it used to be in my perception and in perception of many especially young people from Poland. So I became pretty angry. Why? I don't know. Is there no traditional music in Poland? So then I met these people here and Andrzej Bieńkowski as well, and dig in the archives, and it turned out that there is a huge space of styles in Polish music among the many regions, and so it became very inspiring, and turns out I'm doing it for last 20 years already. Guys?
For me, the beginning was with this band, and also the presence is with this band. Between was some, of course, other adventures, but the first time I met these people and this music, I didn't know why are they so into it. How it's possible to love so much this kind of music, and it was I was very curious and want to find my way to feel it. And what I discovered for myself as a composer, because I describe myself more as a composer than instrumentalist, was the flexibility of motifs, was this trance, trance? Okay, trance feeling, and yeah, that you're deep into other world, and of course this thing that it's somehow forgotten, that it's a kind of treasure to find, and I'm very grateful to that I had an occasion to that this music came to me. I was not looking for it, and it's very it's treasure for me now. Yeah, and we are going further now together. and deeper. Yeah.
Hello. Yeah, my story is maybe special in some ways. I'm from the city, and my family have no connections with village for many generations. So, and there is another thing. There was no music in my house. So one day in 90s, I was in college and I heard some pure archaic music from words. It was from Ukraine, and I felt something very special feeling in me. Something new, something very intuitive. It touched me. So I started to search for world music in the whole world. I listened to radio and archives, also to American natives, and also Inuits, and music from Australia, and yeah, India. So it was like some new kind of energy in my life. Something that I didn't expect that it could happen. So I started to search, to ask people, and one day I met Andrzej Bieńkowski and Janusz with friends who they discovered this archaic rural music, and it was so near, like 50 kilometers from my house, and it was the same feeling, the same energy, and the same secret. So this word of this music, this is like very spiritual, secret experience that you sometimes could not describe what it do to you, but you know that you need it in your life. So that's why I'm here. I started to learn music slowly and slowly and slowly, and that's our adventure and my adventure. Yes.
Thank you, Stefan and Michał and Janusz as well for those really fascinating and different responses. I don't know, Oberek, do you have a discovery story that you'd like to share as well?
My story is quite simple. I fell in love with the girl, and she was already dancing a lot of Oberki, Mazurki. So I had no choice. I had to learn how to dance, and that's it.
Great story. I'll ask you off camera how that worked out ultimately. But
that girl spread Mazureks and Obereks quite broad.
That's right.
I have a bit of a question that traces some of the history of the band, and you've been deep. All of you and Janusz Prusinowski Kompanija have been deeply involved in folk music and dance, in the revival or the reinvigoration in Poland, and for about 3 decades now. And so therefore you started at a really historically significant moment for Poland and for the world. So in the 1990s, when Poland was reinventing itself following the success of Solidarność and the end of single-party communism leadership in 1989. So my question is, can you talk about your interactions with village musicians during these exciting years and still today, and how your new ways of interpreting village music might be part of a larger and ongoing reimagination of Poland itself?
This is the most complex question I've heard for a long time, because we have lots of reflections how it happened. First, it happened to us. It was like, as Szczepan said, this music somehow found us. We were open, we were ready, but if not some Andrzej Bieńkowski, for example, if not other meetings, we could end I don't know where. And really that moment at the beginning of 90s was like the jak się nazywa ten mur? Berlin Wall collapsed, fall down, the end opened, the world opened. And first reaction was to be fascinated with this colorful, beautiful, huge world of music, of cultures, etc. But of everything. But soon, in some years, it occurred that Polish people tend to copy others, to copy, for example, Americans, to be like an American, to be like somebody else, because they felt like not worth enough themselves. They were poor, they lived in houses built when there were no materials, they had no cars, etc. That was like starting from point need to zero, and then now also this general direction in the culture could be West, like being like the West. Sing as the American sings, for example, as the American singers or pop singers or rap singers, whatever. And we with friends, with some community, had completely different feeling. Like, okay, where we are, who we are, what's our local individual story, taste, rhythm, music, dance, everything like that. So when we started traveling to villages, the musicians, the singers were quite often completely astonished who we are and why we are interested in this music. Nobody was those years. Like, they were not invited to weddings because their music was out of fashion. This electric guitars were in fashion, and other pop music from the radio mostly. Sometimes they played on the second or third day of wedding by the tables, but generally they had the feeling, oh, we have no instrument. They answered. I had not played my violin or fiddle for last 20 years, and they felt. Jak powiedzieć, że byli nieufni też. Untrustful. They were sometimes untrustful. What's going on? But steadily, step by step, they felt, okay, these people come not to sell us, not to take the music and use it for their own purposes, but they come because they love this music and they loved us. They became this young generation made them masters, field masters again. Nobody, for example, in their villages, nobody wanted to learn their music. Nobody was interested in that tunes. But this might be also the story that in some years these young people from their surrounding became involved. Now we know quite many accordionists, drummers, musicians, young musicians that learn music from their place. That this attitude is becoming more normal, more existing. I'm not sure if this is answer to your question, but I tried.
There's many answers, aren't there? But it does resonate with what I saw when I was working in Poland, where at that same time, young people looked beyond Poland, and then they looked back to their villages and said, we are also part of the world, and they started developing their own folk traditions in a new way, you know, the old music, but now in a new world. So I think it sounds very similar. So there's truth.
We've been trying to build the connection, build connection between the past and the contemporary and the future, the connection between the city and the village. Both these definitions have changed a lot. The village today is completely different than 30 years ago. And the whole world is in a process of huge transformation, huge change. And we are part of it, trying to make connections, trying to feel the musicians from village important, and their lives important, and there is music and their stories important, and also to share it, to share this simple attitude.
May I add
Yes.
something? It's like this young generation of musicians brought back some dignity to the old musicians, to the village musicians, because village was pretty much depreciated for years, especially in the communist times and after the transformation in 1989. So this traditional music became, and the village music became sort of fashion, but it's still like underground. It's getting stronger and stronger though.
Yes, thank you, Michal. I like the idea of it being underground, and there's a certain attraction to that, I think, to young people.
True.
Yeah.
I can add something. I
Yes,
think
sure.
that now we are in a very special place in our history. So the tradition and traditional music, this is not a museum for us. This is not the past. This is like a source. This is kind of endless source of life, of art, of beauty, of richness, and of this is a way of creating new world. So we are very happy because in this moment we can create new spaces for this music. We can collaborate with people in villages and then can use this tradition as a source, as a tool to create new day, new art, new beauties. So that's it. That's that's beautiful moment.
That is a beautiful way of recognizing this moment as well. I have lots of questions about this, but there's also lots of questions from the audience. So I think I'm going to move into some of those, and some of them get quite specific, you know, because there's you can tell from the questions there's a lot of dancers and players out there who are at our in the village with us today. So this is from Donetska. Donetska 1 is how her signature shows up, and she wonders, was the music all learned by ear, and what keys are the tunes in, and what percent is learned, and what percent is improvised melody, and was there a klezmer influence on it? So that's a series of questions from Donetska.
All the tunes we have played were learned from by ear, by heart, and this is a traditional way of exchanging and learning music. I don't think the notes are able to express all these little changes and colors, or they should be very sophisticated. Besides one tune, this one from about the Chopin story. This one I've learned from the book, from notes from 19th century. But generally we have this this feeling that what the music is not the melody only. It is the color of voice, is the sound of violin, is microtones, which are very difficult to describe in any other way. You could normally recognize individual fiddler by some notes he played, just different ones. I remember in 90s I spent 2 days in the region where Maria lives, in 2 villages, Rdzów and Przystałowice Małe, and there were 3 great fiddlers. Jan Gaca, Tadeusz Jedynak and Piotr Gaca. So I have learned one tune from Jan Gaca and was quite satisfied. It was quite complicated Oberek. Then I showed it to Tadeusz Jedynak and he played it, and then occurred he plays. I had to shift my fingers to be able to play with him, and he played different notes, different pitches. Then I traveled to Piotr Gaca, and again it occurred. It does not work, and they were living. 2 of them were brothers, and the third one was living like 500 meters. So it was so diverse, even in one village. And then it occurred next village, next fiddler, next another tunes, another notes. So this is why. And about improvisation, it was always our question to old fiddlers: where is it the melody itself, and where starts the improvisation? And this answer was usually impossible, because they observe what they played. They created new variants. They could recognize, oh, this one is from that fiddler. You played with him. This is his favorite figure or his favorite ornament, etc. So it's very complex, and in this music it's not like, okay, we play the main melody, the theme, and now you improvise. It is very, very mixed.
It's a living creature, these tunes. And there was a question about the keys of the tunes. We are using, as you could see, the bass. That is actually rhythmic instrument. Basetla or basy, usually played on open strings. That there is no measure change, so it determines the keys like D, A, G.
You can tune it or not.
Yeah, exactly. Then we are usually trying to catch the key of the singer, because when singer sings, we are adapting the key to the singer.
Of course, on a fiddle, there are favorite keys, easiest tonalities that sounds naturally, like D or G sometimes, because fiddlers prefer to change the tuning, to have these positions in their favorite way, than to change or to search for strange keys.
I certainly agree with that. I was trying to play along with you on my fiddle, with my zupsalki, with some of that. I was having a hard time with it. I'm getting signals from that we are out of time, which is, I guess it had to happen. And so we need to wrap it up. I want to refer everyone to the Center for World Music's webpage and to the program for this, where there's links to wonderful information about the ensemble, and about some of the events they do, including the dance house in Warsaw that they've set up, which is a whole teaching and learning and a whole scene in of itself. I want to give a big thanks to Janusz, Michał, Piotr, Stepan, of the Janusz Prusinowski Campania, and their guests, Maria and Oberek, of course, and also a huge thanks to Monica Emery, who is the director of the Center for World Music in San Diego, who made this happen, who has overcome this inability for us all to be in the same dance hall and covered with sweat right now and dancing and drinking Siwiec and probably some really good vodka. Chopin vodka is good for mazurkas, I've found, but she made it happen anyways. And so thank you so much, Monica, and for the Center for World Music in San Diego for making this happen.
Thank you very much. Dziękujemy bardzo, bardzo serdecznie, z całego serca. Thank you.
Ja dziękujemy za Kalifornię, za świetną muzykę, świetną muzykę.
Bardzo dziękujemy.
Dziękujemy serdecznie.
No, proszę bardzo.
Thank you, Tim, Janusz, Maricia, and the whole band for a stunning performance and an eye-opening discussion. We look forward to welcoming you back to San Diego when it's safe to gather again. As for today, I can't think of a better way to celebrate the coming of spring and the hope it brings than spending an hour with people who find joy in the music of Janusz Prusinowski Campania. Thank you so much for joining us today. Be well, stay safe, and we hope to see you again soon.